Alright, so hey, this is a Ash and Shadows game. Played earlier today. Um, I tried to record it earlier with during the gameplay, but it didn't work out. And actually, what I'm over here doing is I'm on this side, and you can see how I'm setting up my troops here. Turns out this game was a loss. Um, I played against a U.S. deck in the Ash and Shadows mod, which is just outstanding. I'm playing this one because it shows how I lost, and I'm going to play another one that I played just a few minutes ago, which actually showed how we won, and it took twice as long. Um, so I thought I had a good setup here, and what it is early on in the game we just got overwhelmed by tanks. The U.S. deck has all M1A2s, and it just totally rocked the house. So over here, I have some airborne units that I'm going to send over, but I'm also moving a good force of troops forward to support the airborne units. Wasn't a huge airborne force, it's pretty light, but most of this stuff right here actually was comprehensive to it. There's a couple of tanks in it, and plus I have two allies, computers with me. And what I'm using here is a modified AI that I presented to Spectre for the purposes of gameplay to make the AI a little more effective than it is in vanilla. And it turns out it's a lot more effective. So hopefully this will give people an incentive to play this mod. In addition, this AI can be played with vanilla as well. For those who like playing AI or who don't like so much playing with other people due to whining and the usual rigmarole that comes with playing other players. And in this, in the mod, the AI is really aggressive. It moves out CVs pretty fast to take land in the conquest format to do the quick land grabs, and then it moves up troops to support it and whatnot. I've got a mixed red 4 deck here that I call all 4-5. And then here you can see the AI on the opposite team, which is only one deck, but it gets 3 times the availability to match the 3 decks it's going against. It's just coming through and it's already causing damage and wreaking havoc. Doing a really good job at it. As I said, I lost this game. And yeah, it was a pretty bad defeat, and it didn't take very long. I think it took somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Maybe a little more than 30 minutes, I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly. But we started off with a +3, and we get up higher than that. Kind of goes back and forth a little bit, and then there's a point where the enemy AI actually counterbalances us, makes it even, and then it takes the lead, which was kind of a shocker to me because I'm not used to the AI actually beating me. But since I modified the AI, it's actually a lot more effective player against the actual players. So that should encourage people to play the modded AI. Um, that Spectre was graciously accepting of, and we've been working together trying to make it better. And as you can see, they've already got tanks coming forward. They've got a group of 4 here, and they got 2 leading here. They've got a Comanche Recon here, 3 Raptor Jesuses, which is, there's only 1 in the deck as it is, but with the 3 times availability, it gets 3 of them. So that's a danger force, which actually knocks out all of my ASFs in the game and takes out quite a number of my aircraft and also my helicopters. So I'm more or less set up trying to like take out these tanks. But these tanks are so like super tough that as you can see they have 25 AP power, 24 armor strength, so they're really hard to knock out. And there's a buttload of thunderbolts that are coming through. They get 6 of them with the 3 times availability. So it's more than a comparable force. We got mortars over here, slam rams, which they get a number of. Wild weasels, there's 3 of them in the original deck, so there's a total of 9. So they just come through and they wipe out my AA as long as it's got the radar adjustment to it. And here I'm using a anti-aircraft or anti-tank airplane, and it gets taken out by a Raptor Jesus, and then another Raptor Jesus coming through to back it up, and they're just pretty much taking out helicopters and other aircraft that are coming through. Now in this one, my AI didn't really use its aircraft, but in the next game it actually makes effective use of aircraft, so I get a little more support. But from this point, we start off kind of at a disadvantage because it's killing a lot of our stuff, and we've already gotten out points, so we're waiting to get points built back up, and it's kind of hard to keep up once we start losing effective assets. And right now, at this point, we're +3, so we got the lead with 128 to their 7. But we're at a standstill now because we're all lacking for points because we've lost units and we're trying to rebuild our forces. So at this is, as a matter of course, there's 6 tanks right here, plus APCs, and they're just really maxing out our gear, and we're trying to catch up. Now, my plan is to hold this area. I've got the Z-band here, but I've got tanks coming bearing down on me. We've managed to kill one of the 6. There's still 5 left, and they're bearing down on me, trying to kill my stuff. And I've got a helicopter coming in and try to like take him out. But it takes a long time for a Z9A to take out these tanks, and then a Q5D, which I'm constantly using to bomb, and they're evacing on dropping their bombs. And so like we stun them, but it doesn't last very long. And then this Z9 decided it was going to get up really close to attack the tanks, and it didn't work out. Raptor Jesus coming through, just kind of sweeping the area. We got a buck trying to fire on it. I don't think the AI lost his Raptor Jesus in this version. So right now we're just trying to like take whatever aircraft we can. Now, I do manage to kill a number of aircraft with my deck, and I got about 4,000 points by the end of the game, but lost like almost 3,000 points worth of stuff. And it was a really tough fight, and we were disadvantaged from the get-go. So here comes another Raptor Jesus, trying to swing in and like kill off one of my planes. That plane manages to get away, but then I got a Q5D coming through, and Raptor Jesus is on it, and takes it out. Yeah, right there, it's going down. We'll see like a crash. There we go. That's when the plane crashes. The plane crashes right here. The Raptor Jesus takes us out. There's 4 tanks left that I know of. And I'm going to start using some rockets back here from my M20 SRBM to start trying to knock out some of the stuff. So I also got a Cake helicopter right here that's throwing missiles at them, but they're not doing too well. Because these guys are just, you know, they just got some superior armor. And it's just incredible how well armored these tanks are. And these guys have like a AP of 24, but with a frontal hit, you know, it's 1-to-1. So we're only doing like 1 point of damage every time it hits if we get them in the face. And it's really hard, you know, concentrating on these aircraft, trying to get them out of the way, get the Q5s to like drop bombs on them, to get this Cake to like move around and be effectively knocking these tanks out. Get one right here with a Q5D. So there's 3 tanks, and I think the other single solo tank is still in there somewhere. Then I'm bringing up an anti-aircraft helicopter to suppress any aerial assets that are coming in. Computer's got some AA units that are coming in, but they're not terribly effective. Then a T-80U over here trying to shoot on these tanks as well. And these guys are just taking damage and pretty much laughing at us at this point. Lots of infantry coming in. I've got a little bit of infantry left in the town, but my CV unit that was here got wiped out. I've got another CV unit over here, which I eventually moved forward, but it gets killed. Over here, the AI is doing a pretty good job of bringing another Cake helicopter in because my other one got shot down. And it's got T-90Ss. This AI over here has got T-90Ss coming in, trying to countermand the M1A2 offset. And those tanks are pretty much balanced to the M1A2. If I can get it. And it's got AP23 armor of 22, which isn't as good as the M1A2 with its, let's see if I can. These guys have AP25 with their weapon and armor value of 24, so I mean, it's really hard to take those guys out. Raptor Jesus comes in and takes out my AA helicopter, which doesn't manage to get any shots in on it because the superior stealth on the Raptor Jesus. AI over here isn't doing so well, but it manages to keep this GWAT van in there for quite some time. But I mean, as you can see, we're being constantly sortied by groups of 4 to 8 aircraft every time. Let's see, I think this deck, the American deck, has like 10 aircraft, so they have a total of 30 to work with. I've got 14 in my deck. The other decks have like 14 as well, so we've got about 42 planes. But the Raptor Jesus just tells all in this episode. It rolls over our airspace with impunity. We've got AA out, you know, got Groms here, got Spags over here, got Grom over here. Let's see, we got a Grom over there, and then we had various infantry out here, but it's been wiped out by ground forces because we're not able to like match them and keep up with them. 13-15 in the game, and we're just getting domed. There's a steady stream of units coming from this side. And you'll start seeing, because of that, that the AI, the enemy AI, is going to focus in on here and eventually take out Alpha. Let's see. I got a Key 5D coming through here. It's going for that slam ram, which actually gets a couple of shots off on it and like keeps it out of play for a while. But we ended up taking out the slam ram. And I've always been rather impressed with this. Whenever I have manipulated the AI, I've been able to get it to perform like a player does. And really, I've seen games where it's 3-on-3, and this is kind of like a 3-on-3 look. Now right now we've got 70% of the points at 354 +2, but that's it. Now it's +1, and we're starting to lose the game here. And we got Raptor Jesuses coming through, and they're just taking out helicopters left and right. Got the ZT, the Zaddy, trying to fire on this Raptor Jesus. It's not doing any good. Got an HQ over here that's trying to fire on the Raptor Jesus, and it gets away before we can actually take it out, but we did manage to... Oh no, we actually did take it out. So there's one Raptor Jesus down. But they have 2 more. They've got a buttload of lightnings. I think there's 3 lightnings in this deck, so they got a total of 9. Same with the Weasels. They've got a total of 9 of those. And then the A10Cs, or 18Cs, they got 6 of them. And they just come in, the Lightnings come in with the A10s, and then the Weasels come in, and the Weasels knock out the AA that's most effective, and the A10s come through and start sweeping tanks and infantry and whatnot. And then the Raptor Jesus is providing air cover with the Lightnings coming through and doing bombing runs on whatever they see. So it's just like, man, hard to keep up on this. Plus we got this Comanche, which is spotting everything in this general area. Let's see, is it off the ground? Yeah, it's at maximum height at this point. So it can see all of this, which is spotting for all these other planes which are coming through. And then it's also spotting, this entire area right here. So it's really hard for me to like bring things forward to get a foothold on the center ground here. We've lost this center entirely. This MI8 with the command is coming through. It's trying to get landed somewhere in this area to see if it can start getting points back in our favor. We're still +1, 367. But you're going to start seeing infantry come through here, along with slam rams, APCs, AFVs, and we got lightning bombers coming through, which are taking out whatever the AI sees on the ground, and with the Comanche right here, and yeah. So that plane goes down, and then there's a bombing action right here, and a bombing action right here. And we got a CV over here that's not doing its job because it's trying to stay out of the way of the enemy. The AI, because we've advanced its IQ, does retreat its units that are not strong enough to face off with the units that are coming on. So if it spots units that are just tough, it'll back off and try to preserve its forces. It'll also hold units in reserve. There's a reserve force right here that's being built up. Another one right here, which is probably going to go forward to like try to countermand what's going on over here. But we got super covers coming through, weasels, lightnings, thunderbolts, and they're just constantly like super micro, like computer micros, like amazingly. And I wish like Eugen would have focused in on making the AI good so that people could practice with the AI and find it logical and reasonable to play with. But since the beginning of the series, their focus has been mainly on multiplayer Two Cobras just took out another CV over here. It's pretty crazy. I just launched a rocket missile that went over here and is like stunning those tanks that are still there. We got infantry moving through. Actually, this infantry is going to knock out this MI6 because I don't know it's there. Or I don't know the infantry's there. Got a major sortie of A-10s coming through with lightnings coming over this way. And basically the AI is spotting whatever it can see, and if it spots it in time, it'll start dropping bombs. But then we get a stun on it. We took one out. Got a stun on this one, but it gets an evac. These A-10s are all evacing. There's another A-10 over here and a lightning over here. These are going to come in and take targets of opportunity. So we got some stuff that is just went boo-boo over here. And looks like we took out a F-35, or maybe it got away. Nope, we got it. Goes down right here in Bravo. So yeah, it's you know, the AI is in this game is it's being an effective on either side. It's being fairly effective. Now you notice how we're at +0 right here because they've taken enough of our land grab assets away from us, and the computer is now it goes +1 and then it goes +2. And it stays like this for pretty much the rest of the game. I think we balance it out at 0 one more time. These M1A2s get knocked out, but then by these tanks. But then, you know, it's pretty much to the point where it's like at an over status for us because we're not able to like maintain against the onslaught that's coming after us. And over here, you can see how should we have been able to be more effective. There's plenty of defense forces all around their CVs and whatnot to fend off a sizable force coming through. Over here in this town, there's a bunch of infantry. Over here, there's infantry. There's a couple of Bradleys and a slam ram. So, I mean, they're ready for anything coming through. Plus, you got to get through this madness. You know, another Comanche that's over here. Cobras that are scoping and scouting, taking things out. I have to, like, get over here and start countermanding these things because they're coming through and knocking stuff out. I try to get troops into the town to count around this stuff. I got a AA helicopter right here, which I'm going to use to like mess with these guys. I already took out the other Super Cobra right there. But there's more Super Cobras coming. And what it is in the game, they've got a total of 12 of these guys to bring in, and they're just now starting to bring in the helicopters. They've been bringing Comanches. I think there's been 2 already. This one can see our entire line, whatever's visible. You can see what's going on, so these aircraft can come through, along with these AH-1Ss and Super Cobras, which are going to just dominate. For a while, they're going to dominate this area. I'm going to get ruined here, and then I'm going to come back and put a CD in there and try to put more AA and more troops in there, but then they bring tanks, which like mess up the game again. We got a helicopter over here. AI is not terribly big on using ground force or infantry or vehicle recon, but I mean, once they got the helicopters in the sky, it's a good, you know, it's pretty much a done deal because if they can see anything, they're going to come through and they're going to try to kill it. Now I've got SQ-27s coming through, trying to get those Night Lightnings and Raptor Jesuses that came through. I knocked out one of their A-10Cs, but then I get taken out. I think, yes, yeah. My plane's going down right about here. And one of the things I did in this game is I doubled the ceiling heights for aircraft, so they'll come in and they'll disappear at a certain height from sight because AA can't identify it, or infantry on the ground can't identify it because it's too far up. You know, once it's up 10 miles, pretty hard to spot an aircraft. that makes the game a little more fair with respect to aircraft, because the AA in this game is actually really effective at the 10-mile height ceiling, so I doubled it to 20. Because a lot of times your aircraft like Q-5Ds, F-35 with the JSOW, a lot of those planes can drop their ordnance at 20 miles up, and you'll just never see them. Now, with the German deck in this game, you can use what's called the Tornado Hope, which uses a Hope ordnance bomb. It'll come in somewhere around here and release its ordnance to drop around this area, which is like, 1/3 to 2/3 of the map. Then you can evac it. You don't even need to like let it continue to fly. It's already dropped its bombs, and get it out of there. And then the bombs go towards the target. As long as the bombs are dropped while the thing is still in sight, while the target is still in sight, it will go and destroy those targets. Raptor Jesuses are still coming through and knocking out helicopters. I'm finding it really hard to like just counterbalance these aircraft. And then, of course, you just notice a bunch of like aircraft right there just evac'd automatically, is because they lost sight of whatever target they were going for over here, and decided that evac Winchester was the best deal. But they got helicopters over Charlie right here, and they got helicopters, or they got riflemen over here in Gulf. And right now they're starting to like put pressure on Alpha. This GWAT band is on the move, so it's not putting down points for us. We're losing points. They're at +6. We're at 0. So they're actually rapidly starting to take over the map. They're getting tons of points. In this game, I put the opposing AI at very hard, so they're getting 20 points every 4 seconds, plus another 120%. So that would be what? 28. So 28 points. They get 48 points every 4 seconds. My allies are getting 60% on top of their 20 points. Well, we're all sharing 20 points. So they're getting 60% on top of what they get out of the 20 points that we're all sharing. So you can see how we're basically being put at a disadvantage. But I like team play, and I like working with other teams to fight a common goal or fight a common enemy. And so what's going on here is we're just not able to keep up with the points, and those guys, my guys are on hard, so they're not getting near as many points as the enemy is. Now in the second game I'm going to show, I put the enemy AI at hard, along with my 2 allies at hard, plus me, and it takes twice as long as this game, well, maybe not twice as long. It goes over an hour in gameplay, and here we are, like 27 minutes into this game, and the enemy AI is dominating 2/3 of the map and pushing into the last third, attempting to knock us out. They've already knocked out Charlie. They've already knocked out Alpha. So basically, all we have is this 1-point sector Foxtrot left for getting points, and none of us are able to get any points enough to like fend off the enemy. So pretty much at this point the game is over. I wish the earlier version of this game would have worked out, because I gave a really good narrative of what was going on at the time, and then also you can see from my standpoint how I'm struggling to fight the enemy. But pretty much I'm right here at this point. I got these guys right here. They're getting chopped up by these helicopters, and I've got a bunch of AA and tanks, and Very little infantry at this point. Allies have got infantry over here, but basically we're getting chewed. And I got this. I think my forces are pretty much done over here. Yeah. So here we're getting almost to the 30-minute mark. And the enemy's at 404. We're at 372 still. So we almost won the game. But the enemy was able to affect enough change in the game to start tearing us up and make it happen against us. And this is the enemy on very hard, whereas I got 2 allies at hard and myself. So we're not doing so well. Now the American deck that I'm using against us is called 3SOG, 3 Special Operations Group, or 3rd Special Operations Group, which this is its primary job. It's supposed to send helicopters out to like basically sky raid, take things out. We're actually taking out a few of their helicopters, but I don't think it's enough to make a difference. We got another group of helicopters over here. They don't have to do much more. This Comanche is still spotting this area, so what's going on here is these guys are going to come through with some aircraft again, and they got AH-1S Cobras coming through, which are going to start like, you know, it's just wave after wave after wave of helicopters and then aircraft, which are going to chew us. And then they're at 482, 30 minutes, 25 seconds, 488, 494, one more in the game. And that's game. So you can see I got 39.95, 28.56 losses. This group didn't do so hot. This was a Op 4 group, which is mixed Korean and Red Med. Over here, this is a Special Operations Chinese group, which actually did fairly well, but wasn't able to perform as good as the American Special Operations group. And then my force was another Special Operations group type, but it wasn't, you know, even with me being the player, I wasn't able to do it as well. And then you can see the kills that, I believe this is the kills that the opposing unit gets, opposing force gets. 60% of kills in game, 50% of command points, and took 39% of the casualties overall. And all these units acquired experience. Now in the previous game, I do have into the game screenshots of what I killed and whatnot, but I wish the original video would have come through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the second game, which actually took over an hour, but we ended up, me and my computer allies ended up winning, and it was a struggle. Like seriously, like it was hard, even with the opposing unit 3SOG on hard, as opposed to very hard as it is here. It was hard to defeat it, and it took twice as long for us to defeat it as it did for us to defeat, or for it to defeat us in this game. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to post this up in the next 24 hours, and then hopefully people can see like how well the new AI does compared to the old AI, and they're more encouraged to start playing it. And I'm just going to throw this up here also for Spectre to see how the new AI plays in conjunction with some of the my gameplay and 3-tiered force against one for general combat. Anyway, Jaeger signing out.